Good evening, Facebook. We're going to get rocking and rolling here in a second.
How you all doing? Does it say tag?
We're getting our feed going here. All right.
You know, maybe, how about if, after I'll go over what we're going to do today, the three. I'll highlight the three.
We're
and
live.
you go.
We're live.
Oh.
Don't say that. Thank you. All right.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
All right. Jim Boyce is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's Lisa?
Lisa Boyce, she's probably tired from working. Kim Tudis is here.
She might
Billy McCall, the Queen of Cheese. We got all kinds of great stuff. You know what? You
Hey,
ready
John.
to rock?
Hey, John. I'm ready.
Here we go, guys. I'm Scott.
And I'm Don.
And we're talking real estate. So we have a great show for you tonight. It's been many, many weeks we've been sheltering in place here, but we got all kinds of good stuff for you. Some's informational. You're going to hear the sound tech Shadow in the background. He'll probably bark like crazy. Mike McLaughlin, how are you, sir? It's going to be nutso. So I'm going to say off-the-wall things. Don's going to try to bring me back in and reel me back in and make things okay. All right? So if you need information, go to Don. If you need ridiculous stuff, I'm here.
He's the man.
I'm your guy. Catherine Cotton, how are you, dear? Here we go, Don. So let's talk sign of the times. What's going on in the real estate market now?
So right now, refinancing your mortgage for current homeowners is a big thing going on. Interest rates have dropped. Their mortgage reps are doing a lot of business on the refi. So if your interest rate's a little bit up there, you're not sure, maybe you can cut some years off, maybe cut the interest rate a little bit. Maybe get your private mortgage insurance off or your mortgage insurance and put a little bit more money in your pocket or onto the mortgage and get that thing paid down. The sooner you get it paid down, the more wealth you have.
You're so nice to them. I'm going to make it clear to you. If you haven't, Kenny Siantar in the house, I see you, brother. If you have not talked to your mortgage rep, I had our broker say this to me today. He said, if you have not had a conversation with your clients, okay, you need to say this. If you haven't talked to your mortgage rep yet about refining and putting some money in your pocket, Kelly Murray, how are you? Then you need to, okay? If you have not called your mortgage person to see if refinancing will help you, you need to, okay? If you're not planning on moving. You're planning on moving, you call us. That's pretty simple. But if you have not done that yet, you make sure you do that, okay? I'm particular to Mike McLaughlin of Academy Mortgage. He's my guy. I trust him with everything, even my dog, okay? So I trust him with everything. What about you, Don?
Your dog?
Yeah, he can be okay with Shadow. That would be okay.
Your dog? Well, there's a couple mortgage reps. Typically you can go to your bank or credit union. They're always
bank credit union. Oh, come on!
Or refinance with the company you're already with because they might be able to streamline it, make it a lot more efficient.
That makes sense to me.
And maybe even charge you a little less on the mortgage to get that done. So
I
always reach out there, and if not, call me. I have people that I can refer you to. That's
Absolutely. So make that call. All right. Call John Betker, the best heating and cooling man alive, is watching today, boys and girls. If you need heating and cooling, John Becker, 3 Stripes. 3 Stripes, heating and cooling is there for you. How you like them apples?
Hey, Beth Nyheiser, how you doing? All right, so what's up next on the time, Scott?
Okay, so I've been on 704 Zoom calls in the past 5 days.
Is that even possible?
It's possible. And I'm Zooming all the time. Zoom this, Zoom that, Zoom this. Google Hangouts. What else? FaceTime with a bunch of 8 people. It's craziness, okay? But the informational side of it, I meet every morning, Monday through Wednesday, with some very high-powered agents. And we talk serious stuff, like what's really going on in the world. So they're telling me, and I'm seeing the same thing, buyers are dying. Kim K-son, how are you? Buyers are dying to get out into the market. They're dying to get at homes, okay? But here's the hard part, okay? You have to follow the rules, okay? We cannot take you to see a home. We can't show you a home right now, okay? Unless you want to pay our fine. I think the fine's $1,000 now.
Something like that.
Yeah, so unless you want to pay our fine, right? So, but buyers are out there. So sellers, hear me say that. Buyers are dying to take a look at your home. They are. So what you got to do is be ready. I keep saying this. I've been saying this for 2 or 3 weeks now. Be ready, because when this thing pops down, it is going to pop.
There's going to be a surge, that's for sure.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be like that all over the place.
But if you're the type of buyer that really, really has to make that move, we have ways to make that happen.
Well, we talked about them already, right?
Yeah.
So things like virtual showing. I saw a showing on YouTube. Like the seller did it themselves, and they walked you through the house. I mean, YouTube is pretty.
Well, that's the only person that can do it is a seller.
Right, but what I'm saying, it's very personal. Like, it's not like a company's coming in and don't show them this.
Right.
I mean, like, it's pretty clean.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it's pretty raw stuff. It's pretty raw
Yeah,
stuff.
it's pretty interesting.
So we do that. The other thing of this, and again, I'm undecided here with this, right? If you get a house under contract, a buyer and a inspector, private inspector, can go in the house. Okay, so you could pay a private inspector $300-400 or whatever the fee is, and that could be counted as your inspection and your showing. But understand, you're out that cash if that happens.
Right. But it's a risk if you need to take to try to secure a home at this time if it's really important to you.
So this is what I'm gonna tell you. If you see a house, Kelly Gallen, how are you, dear? If you see a house that you have to have, okay, be ready to roll those dice, $300-400. Get under contract and let's have you and the inspector take a look at it.
But on that private inspector, the sellers have to agree to allow the purchaser in the house as well.
Yes.
So that's a bit. So it's a little more complicated. But if you purchase it that way, you will not see the house again until you close, or if the stay-at-home is lifted, then you will be able to see the home again.
Yep.
Go inside the house. Other than that, you're only seeing it one time at the most.
So that's the stuff you got to think about. Those are the things you got to be aware of. So those sign of the times. Credit score numbers are still the same, 660 for FHA, and conventional is a little higher than that. There's things like I'm hearing you have to have extra reserves hanging around, but those are way more lender questions. So if you're thinking about buying a home, again, be ready. So do these things. Go and talk to them. Call a mortgage rep. Make sure you get pre-approved. Get all your docs in line, everything ready to rock and roll, because on your side, it's going to be like piranhas. It's going to be like piranhas the next month or two.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, what's going to happen after the stay-at-home's lifted, and what we can do at that point. So hopefully we can do more things, and that's like getting you into the houses. I
get the Perez's, Furman and Jessica Perez, both watching tonight. So on that same note, let me give this one last bit of information. This, and then we'll go into the rest of the show.
Okay.
Is what do you call it? If I've already told my family, I'm like, look at, as soon as this thing gets lifted, I'm going to be working 12, 14, 16-hour day. You're not going to see me. Don't invite me to dinner. I mean, don't expect anything. I'm going to be working until the light comes up, until it gets dark, showing properties and listing homes, because people have been pent up for too long. They're ready. They're ready to make it happen. Like, I guarantee I'm going to get a call from this thing or an email from somebody, Katie Chuber in the house. I'm going to get a call from somebody that says, what should we do? What are we going to do? And I'm willing to answer those questions, but they're going to be the same thing I'm telling you now, is it's going to be insane when it happens, when it breaks.
So next up, we have flood insurance.
So biggest thing about flood insurance, it's a humongous topic. Tracy Sparks from Georgia in the house. It's a huge thing from Dearborn Heights, Dearborn perspective, some downriver homes, houses, neighborhoods in that. So
Well, it covers a lot of areas.
Yeah, it covers a lot of areas. So
Ann Arbor, downtown Ann Arbor, Monroe, City of Monroe. So it's everywhere, of course. Harrison Township on the east side. I sold a property over there, and last year there was some flooding in that area. And
so what good information you got about flood insurance and getting out and things like that?
So Carol Grove, you know Carol Grove from Alpine Surveyors.
Alpine Surveying.
This woman's an expert in flood insurance. This is her forte. She's a student in it, and she teaches it. She even teaches it to FEMA, people at FEMA, which is a very interesting concept that she knows more than some of the people at FEMA. So, and she teaches other surveyors throughout the country. She's been to Alaska, to Wisconsin. I can't say enough good things about this woman. She's just a wealth of knowledge, and she does the job. She gets the job done, and if she can't, she explains why. And so it's a really good thing. So if you are in a flood insurance area, you're thinking about buying in the future, and you come across flood insurance, these are some of the things you want to take a look at. So one thing about flood insurance is the expense. You have homeowners insurance, and on top of that, you have flood insurance, which covers flood from outside, from a tributary, from a river, from a lake, not from the sewer. It's not coming up from the sewer. It's not a toilet plugged. It's not a sink plugged. It's
you know what that's called?
Outside.
My friend and my cousin is an insurance agent. It's called sewer backup insurance, baby. That's what that's called.
That's a
About
different
15 or 20 bucks add on your policy. Sewer backup insurance. That's different. Go ahead.
Different than flood insurance.
Yep.
So you can expect to pay $300 to $4,000 a year.
Yeah.
So it's a huge cost.
What's the most you ever seen?
I don't.
I can tell you right now. I can know exactly.
3,000.
There was a house on Campbell in Annapolis that somebody was looking to buy. The flood insurance was $3,300. We definitely did not buy that house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
$3,300
on the sell side too, you got to think about getting out of it too. Coach Tommy Nuttall, how are you, my friend? Using that positive energy.
So over a course of 30 years, you're looking at $9,000 to possibly $120,000. That's a lot of money over 30 years. So when going back to Dearborn Heights in particular, and really all over the state in a lot of areas, they've done a blanket FEMA map and put a lot of properties in areas that are considered in flood insurance when actually they're not. And flood insurance, it's not just the region or the area, it's the elevation of the building. So what Carol does is she'll go find the lowest part of the building, shoot that elevation where the earth and the building meet, and make that determination. That's the level of whether or not you need, if you're in a flood insurance area or if you're not in a flood insurance area.
Yeah. So I've dealt with Carol plenty of times. I can tell you this. Chris Nichols, how are you, sir? She'll do for $100. For $100, she will come out and tell you, yes, I can get you out of flood insurance, or no, I cannot. For $100.
Right. And
that's not a bad. I mean, that's an easy thing.
So that's what we're going to next. Is when she goes out there and shoots the elevation, finds out that you're in a flood insurance, possibly getting you out of it. And many times she goes out there, and perfect example is that the elevation, the lowest part of the building, is out of the flood insurance area, and you don't even need it. And so she writes up a loan.
Keep going. I'm listening. Keep going.
This LOMA document will get you out of the flood insurance. You supply that to your lender, and then you'll get out of the insurance, that insurance part there.
Right, but there's cost to it.
Yes, $100 for the initial inspection. If she can get you out of it, it's another $800 for the letter, the LOMA letter.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't take. Another thing, folks, it doesn't take a day. It takes some time. You know what I mean? It takes some time. So it's one of those things. So it's a letter of map amendments. What is a LOMA letter, right? So it could take you a week or two. I mean, like she can come out, and the whole process doesn't take a day. But if you're paying $1,000 in flood insurance every year, it's a smart thing to do. Yeah. For $100, it's a smart thing to do.
To find out if she can get you out of it, it'll be another $800. So for a little less than $1,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did you have to do a flood insurance? Not you yourself, but your family?
No, we didn't have to. We weren't in flood insurance.
Yeah. So my mom, we lived on Williams, right by Annapolis High School there. And she still lives there. And when she had a mortgage, we had flood insurance. And like she was on one house and then two houses around. It was all kinds of craziness. I wish I would have known this when I was a kid. I mean, I wish someone would have said, "Hey, you get you out of flood insurance." She doesn't have it now because she's free and clear, so that doesn't make it. But she still gets water though. So.
Right. The thing is, my parents, their house would flood, but it'd be coming through the sewer.
Man, no kidding.
When we got really heavy rains because the sewer systems couldn't handle it. So it's a really frustrating thing when you have it up in your basement. So
Coach Brett Green in the house. I see you, sir. How are you?
So next up, to get it removed from the flood insurance zone, if you can't get it removed from the flood insurance zone, there's a next step is to where you can do a couple modifications to the house, either put in flood vents or sometimes you have to raise the central air unit or the heating unit, the furnace, and then Carol can explain to you if you do these few things, she can get you out of it to where you pay a much lower premium. So instead of paying $4,000, you might end up paying $400 a year.
Yeah. Huge
savings. But if she does come out there and explains to you how to do it, listen to her instructions. Don't do it on your own. You want to make sure that they're done, that the vents are put in the right location. You could cause yourself a lot of right location.
So I got something else for you on flood insurance. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, so
baby. Bring it.
McLaughlin and I used this before. I want to say it's just on a conventional mortgage, but you can get private flood insurance too. That's way cheaper.
Yeah, huh?
We used one, I want to say it was out in Washington, the state of Washington, for a gentleman that bought a house on Dudley Street, Dearborn Heights, and it was way cheaper. But I think you can only do it on conventional now. You used to be able to do it on both, but I think you can only do it on conventional. So even private flood insurance might help you too.
See, there you go. There's something new. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So another comment that we got from a young lady said that you can adjust your flood insurance every year according to your balance. So that's that's another thing. Again, keeping tabs on it. Like I said, so it's one of those things where you got to stay on top of things. Flood insurance beats the holy hell out of the South Heights, especially Taylor and Allen Park. So it's something we bring up. We brought it up a couple times now. We just want to make sure we're good at that.
Yeah, and it scares some people. They don't want to buy into flood insurance area because of that additional charge. So
well, so let's look at that. So if people don't like buying houses that are in the flood zone and flood insurance, Silvio Davis, how are you, sir? It was great dropping those tickets off to you today, buddy. So if you don't want to have, you want to make your house more valuable, and you're in a floodplain or flood zone, you get out of flood insurance.
Yeah.
I put that whenever I put a listing up. I put in humongous letters, right? Humongous letters that does not require flood insurance.
Yep.
That's like music to my ears.
Yeah. Makes it a little bit easier to sell that property.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's something that I learned today that I did not know about flood insurance. There's this thing called floodway. Have you ever heard of a floodway?
No, this isn't a bad joke, is it?
No, it's not.
You sure? Because he was throwing the bad jokes out April Fool, right?
You remember that on April's Day,
Yeah.
April 1st, on April Fool's? So, no, a floodway is in a town, for example, Monroe has a river that's flowing through it. And a floodway is a building that's in where the river can overflow its banks, it breaches the banks, and it can flow into the downtown area or that area around all those buildings. And it's a very dangerous situation if you happen to be there when that happens.
You were saying it happened in Michigan before. You were telling me before the show it happened in Michigan, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's probably happened a number of times, but it happened in Grand Rapids. I think in 2013 that the Grand River breached its banks and went downtown. And if you've been to Grand River and you ever saw pictures of it, the water was 22 feet above the banks. So it was like on the second floor of some of those high-rise buildings down there where the water level was at. So it was a very, very scary thing down there. And the interesting thing is there's this thing called hydrostatic pressure, which means that the pressure...
Wait, hold on a second. Is this a science class?
It could be.
All right, put in plain language. Miss Pat, I see you. I see you out there, girl.
It's all about knowledge.
All right, go ahead.
Expanding your mind.
Professor Lawrence, go ahead.
So hydrostatic pressure is the pressure outside of a building or outside of the walls pushing in. And with the water, you have the water 22 feet high. The city was recommending to the tenants on the lowest floor to take a bat or a hammer, knock out the windows so that when the water started flowing in, it'd flow in through the building because that pressure will damage the foundation.
Oh, wow, okay.
And the building would have to be more than likely demolished because those high-rise buildings, you can't really go in there and fix them up, fix up the foundation.
I got you.
So anyways, a floodway. So that's a new thing that I came across.
I got you. So Don, before we go to the city spotlight, we got to know who's watching today. We got to know what's going on. So here's what I want to do. I want to give you a minute or two. Tell us where you're coming from. Are you in Woodhaven? Are you at Allen Park Jaguar? Are you in Dearborn Heights? Where are you at? In the comments right now, post what city you're in. Mike McLaughlin, you're in Woodhaven. I better see Woodhaven. Miss Pat, I see you out there. Brad Kernett, where are you coming from? Where are you watching from? Post in the comments. We'll give you a minute or two. Go ahead. While we get the city spotlight locked in. Tell us where you're at.
Maybe you're fishing at a river, right at a river right now.
You think?
You can.
Well, you can. You're allowed to. You're definitely allowed to.
You can have that fishing rod out
there. There is Kathy. How the heck are you? Dearborn Strong, Silvio Davis. Where are you coming from? Got Jim Boyce in Canton. We got Stephanie Beavers down in Monroe. Beautiful Monroe County, lower taxes. Got Kathy Cordy in Dearborn Heights. Come on, talk to me. Where are we at, people? Where are we coming from? I'll give you one more minute to give a little shout out to that city you're watching from. John Becker in Dearborn, baby. I know where you're at. Heating and cooling. 3 stripes.
John Davis, Detroit.
Very nice, very nice. Got 30 more seconds. Tell us where you're coming from.
Denise, Allen Park.
Catherine Cordy, Clinton Township. But she's always a cougar from Dearborn Heights, Annapolis, baby. Very nice, very nice. Got 30 more seconds. And then we're going on to the city spotlight. It's going to be a good one today. I promise you.
It's always a good one.
Not always.
Yes,
no.
it is.
Well,
every single week.
Dearborn Heights, Pat. I see you. There we go. Lisa Boyce is watching too. All right, Don. Give them the city spotlight. Tell them what's going on.
Westland, Michigan is
Westland, Michigan. Now
it's a big city.
It is. Westland has all kinds of high-end homes, has lower-end homes. It's got middle. It's all over the place. because it butts up to Canton, it butts up to Garden City. It's like it comes all the way out to Van Born Road at the edge of Dearborn Heights. It's all over the place.
It's a big city.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
here's what we got for city of Westland. Right now, there are 68 properties, 68 homes, I should say, that are active. Okay. They got 16 condos that are active. So now you're talking 74, 75 properties in Westland active. Okay. Houses are on the market. What else we got?
We have pending, currently under contract, 87 homes, 87, and 14 condos.
So you're talking 100. 100 homes that are under contract now. So that means, again, we always talk about this every week. So homes under, there he is, Sam Abdullah. He loves watching us, man. He's the man. We got to have him on sometime. So we're talking pendings are higher than active. So people are shopping. People are definitely shopping. Okay, now we got solds, 47 homes and 11 condos. So now you're talking almost 60. So your pending's your biggest number, right?
Yeah,
so that people are taking
absolutely.
houses and getting them under contract. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things happening there. So average sales price in Westland for all the properties that sold, $154,000.
No kidding.
Yep.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Pretty good average.
So 1,200 square feet.
Little over
So if you
1,200
want
square feet.
1,200 square feet around in Westland, you can get it for $154. That's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. So we talked about this before. I thought about this, and I was going to order in something from Westland. But what we're going to do, I think, from now on is we're going to send out to people maybe Monday what city we're going to spotlight, and we want to hear about the best restaurants in that city. And we're going to see if we can come up with what the best restaurant is in the city. And like we told you, when we take this bad boy on the road after this lockdown's done, we're going to eat there. And I'm going to eat the crazy food. I'm going to eat the weirdest food in that restaurant. So look out for that. So we'll be doing city spotlights that'll be a little bit different than they are right now. Lori Knight, how are you, girl? All right, Don. So the other topic that we wanted to bring up so again, I've been zooming every day. I had 5 Zoom meetings yesterday, 5 Zoom meetings of all different types yesterday.
Who's zooming who?
You ain't kidding. It was Zoom this, Zoom that, Zoom this, Google Hangout, all that craziness, right? So one gentleman that spoke to us yesterday in our sales meeting, Dearborn Heights sales meeting, was a gentleman by the name of Eric from MSHDA. Okay, I know we talked about MSHDA home down payment assistance before, but it's Jeremy Mordini. How are you? But there's something that I didn't know before that kind of jumped out at me. He said it's a very rarely used program at MSHDA. What was interesting to me. Okay, so I'm going to break it down and I'm going to try to talk through it. It's, again, I'm not a mortgage lender, but there's some certain things about it. So it's called the MSHDA Federal Tax Credit. Okay, tax credit. Who doesn't like paying less than their taxes? Okay, so this is for home purchases, not for refis. I found that out very succinctly. It's not for refis. So I know we got the refi boom. We told you call your lender, look for a refi, but it's for new home buys. Okay, so here's what it's designed to do. It's designed to stimulate the economy. Okay, it's designed to stimulate the home buying that's going on in Michigan. All right, now what the benefit is to you? You can get 20% of your annual mortgage interest credited as a credit every single year for if you stay in the house for 30 years. How about that? Okay. Mike McLaughlin and I kind of walked through this yesterday a little bit because, again, it seems like it's a lesser used thing.
You don't hear about it.
No, you don't. You don't hear about
rarely.
it. So it's 20% annually of your mortgage interest you get a credit for. Okay, so let me walk you through this some more. So it's available to first-time home buyers. It's a tax credit, right? It's available to first-time home buyers or repeat buyers, somebody that's going to buy another home, in targeted areas. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. I looked into target areas. In Wayne, Dearborn's a targeted area. Lincoln Park's a targeted area. Taylor's a targeted area. In Oakland County, Royal Oak Township is township. Remember, not Royal Oak, but Royal Oak Township is a target area. Southwood's a target area. In Macomb, this one drove. I was shocked. Harrison Township, which I sold a house out there that was right by the water. That was gorgeous in Harrison Township. So those are targeted areas that you can look at.
There's some big money houses.
Right,
there.
for repeat. You're talking about repeat buyers. First-time home buyers, this is a little different, right? Now, so the single person income, right, for those is you can make up to $91,500 and get this tax credit. Okay? $91,000. That's a lot of coin.
It is. So explain how on a mortgage, and let's say do a $200,000 mortgage, and how
Okay,
it works.
so
what does
well,
that
the
mean?
limit.
What
So
does that mean?
let's crank this out. So the limit, the very limit that you can purchase price you can buy it for is $225, $224.9. Okay, so you pay $9,000 worth of mortgage interest every year for that. Okay, I mean that's what you usually pay, at least the first few years, right? Mm-hmm. So you can get $1,800 of that tax credited every year. So you're talking, if you just took that $1,800, I know the number will change as you pay the loan, I get that, but that's around $50,000 if you stay in that house for 30 years.
Well, it's going to be a lot less than that.
It will, but I'm just saying. I'm just trying to wrap the numbers out and make it look a little more
No,
understandable.
it's very well worth it.
It's a wicked number.
And most people don't even stay in their house 30 years. So
right.
even
So
if you
the
get
cost to
15 on
you,
it, it's a good thing.
the cost to you is 1% of the loan, which you could turn into a seller concession. A 1% seller concession is not that big a deal. So I definitely, every time somebody goes through this, I'm asking that question: Could this work for them?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's something. It's crazy. Making 91.5, that's a pretty big number, right? Mm-hmm. And saving $1,800 a year, that's pretty good money. Mm-hmm. So again, it doesn't work for refis, okay, but it works for home purchases. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Then I wanted to talk about something else. I wanted to ask a question to the audience. Okay, so you see, this is my living room, and I painted it silver bullet. That's the color. Okay, I would love in the comments, and even afterward, if you watch this later, we're gonna paint the dining room next. So I'm thinking about going with a little bit darker of a grayish tone color. I would love to hear what colors you think if you were painting a dining room. I mean, my dining room's got a little bit of what's that board called?
Wainscoting.
Wainscoting at the bottom. What colors would you paint it? And would you stay with the gray? I am going to stay with some tints of gray, some earthy kind of tones and things like that. I'm going to stay with the hints of gray. That's what I'm going to do. So I think. But what colors would you go with? I'm curious. Christine Wojcinski says plum. What else you got? What other colors would you paint a dining room? I got a little formal dining room here. What color would you paint it?
You look like a plum guy.
Hot pink, John Betker. Always a smart guy. Always a smart guy.
You look like a plum guy.
He tells those jokes when he fixes the furnace too. Tells the same joke. His jokes are better than yours though.
Yeah, really?
What else you got? I got hot pink, I got plum.
I'm offended.
You stay in the same hue, Lori Knight says. You should stay in the same hue. So I got earthy but lighter. Okay. Navy blue. All right. Like I said, I'm leaning toward something in the same what do you call it? Paint chip, right? But I just would love to see a gunmetal gray. That's not bad. Grayish blue. Jeremy Morandini. That guy can remodel like nobody's business. That's what I like to see. So Don, what else? Do you have anything else you want to add to the folks?
No.
So guys, we know this shelter-in-place thing is crazy. Okay, we do. We know that some of the stuff we're saying is going from week to week. We know that too. We can't wait to get back out and make it happen for buyers. We can't wait to see the surge happen, okay? If you are thinking about buying a home, okay, call us. Get on the horn, send us messages, whatever. Do that, okay? If you have not called your mortgage lender yet, call them and say, hey, would a refi make sense for me? Okay, because if we can save you a couple $100, I don't care if you don't buy a house for it, I want you to be happy. That's the biggest thing, So that's kind of how that goes. Don, as you noticed, second week in a row, our sound tech Shadow has not barked that much during the show. Okay?
Quiet.
One day, I'm going to come on here live and let you listen to how he's like all the time. I don't know why he's minding his manners right now, but he is. Shadow is definitely being a quiet guy right now. So it's one of those things. Our sound tech's being relatively quiet. You know what I'm saying? All right. So folks, hopefully we gave you some great information. Hit us up, throw comments down there, hit us up with any questions that you had that we did not answer. Okay? We're in the market every day. We're talking to other realtors every single day, over and over on Zoom every single day. No, I'm just kidding. So we're definitely got our ear to the grindstone. We're trying to figure things out. So if you have any questions at all, Donnie, you know what time it is, don't you?
I'm Don.
Really? That's not how we do it.
That's how we do it.
No, we do. I'm Scott.
I'm Don.
And we're talking real estate. We love you guys.
See you
We'll
next
see you
week.
later.